If your intuition has been telling you over and over again that your life is meant for something bigger, and deep down you carry an unshakable sense of certainty, not blind optimism, not a temporary high from motivational content, but a feeling that seems to come from the deepest part of who you are, a feeling that says, I'm going to make something of myself, I'm going to build wealth, I'm going to rise beyond my current circumstance and live a completely different life. If that feeling has been with you for a long time and is only getting stronger, then there's a good chance that you actually will succeed. And it's not because you are lucky. It's because you've already switched on a critical mechanism inside your brain. Today, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens from 3 different perspectives: neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and the way society actually works. And by the end, you will understand why having this feeling of being destined for more often becomes a self-fulfilling reality. Let's start with neuroscience. Inside your brain is an incredibly important system called the reticular activating system, or RAS. It's a real biological structure. Think of it as your brain's information filter engine. Every second, your brain receives around 11 million bits of information from the outside world. But your conscious mind can only process about 40 to 50 bits of that information. If your brain didn't filter anything out, you'd be mentally overwhelmed almost instantly. So, how does your brain decide what to notice and what to ignore? The answer is simple: your subconscious mind. It allows through only the information that it believes is most important. Here's a practical example. When someone convinces themselves that the economic is terrible and there's no way to make money right now, their RAS immediately starts collecting evidence to support that belief. This company went bankrupt, that person got laid off, stores are closing, an industry is collapsing. They spend months scrolling through negative news, and eventually they arrive at a conclusion. See, there are no opportunities. Giving up is a logical choice. But when your intuition tells you with absolute certainty, I can do this, I will find a way to succeed, I will make money, something different happens. Your brain becomes fully activated. It turns into a high-powered radar system. In the middle of endless noise and overwhelming information, it automatically filters out distractions, negativities, and it becomes incredibly sensitive to opportunities, connections, ideas, skills, patterns, tiny clues that could completely change your future. In other words, your intuition is often a sign that your brain has already started building a pathway towards your goal. Every step you take in reality is simply the visible result of thousands of invisible calculations your brain has been making behind the scenes. Let's look at this through the lens of social psychology. The famous sociologist Robert Merton introduced a concept called self-fulfilling prophecy. The idea is simple. Your expectations about the future directly influence your behavior in the present. And over time, those behaviors help create the outcome you expected. Let's imagine 2 people suffer the same devastating setbacks. Their business fails, they are drowning in debt, and they are betrayed by someone they trusted the most. The first person believes they are destined to live an ordinary life. How do they respond? They break down, they surrender, they numb themselves with alcohol. They complain about society, they blame everyone around them, and eventually they become exactly what they feared becoming: bitter, resentful, and stuck. The second person experienced the same pain, the same heartbreak, the same humiliation, but deep down, they refuse to believe this is how their story is gonna end. Of course they suffer, of course they cry, but they don't accept defeat, because they carry a deep sense that they are meant for something greater. Late at night, after wiping away their tears, they tell themselves, this is not my ending. This is just a test. Life is preparing me for something bigger. If I can't handle this challenge, how could I possibly handle the success that's waiting for me? Do you see the difference? The same disaster destroys one person, but the other turns it into fuel. Every hardship, every betrayal, every failure becomes experience points, lessons, and training. What looks like a dead end to everyone else becomes nothing more than a temporary low point in their personal movie, the part right before the comeback. As long as that belief remains alive, their behaviors remain aggressive, proactive, and solution-oriented. They are constantly searching for the next opportunity, the next breakthrough, the next move. And that explains why so many self-made entrepreneurs still had a fire in their eyes when they were sleeping in the basements and struggling to survive. Because even then, they could already see the future version of themselves. Here's a quote I love. Your subconscious mind is running your life, and you call it destiny. So don't ignore that desire inside you that keeps pushing you forward, and don't let temporary setbacks extinguish the spark in your mind. Guard it like you would protect your eyesight. Protect that feeling that says, I'm meant for more. Then follow it. Read, learn, build skills, take risks, experiment, take massive action. Trust that every lesson you learn and every skills you accumulate is preparing you for a future breakthrough. The result you're working towards isn't disappearing. It's already there, waiting quietly ahead of you. All you have to do is keep walking toward it. I'm Yu. Follow me for more to level up your mind.